we are here for the 2023 Backlash predictions. Finally at Backlash, finally through the WWE draft, and hopefully after Backlash, we can finally begin to start anew in WWE. But first, we got to get through Saturday night. And overall, the match card's looking good. I can't complain. We got 7 matches. All of them look to be pretty good for the most part. Well, we'll talk about it one by one, obviously. But let's just get into these predictions, guys, right here on the No Nation Wrestling YouTube channel. All right, you guys know the drill for these prediction videos. We're going to slide over a little bit, get the match graphics on the screen, and let's get into these predictions. Alrighty, we will kick things off with the United States Championship on the line. Triple threat match. Austin Theory defends against Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. Honestly, this is one of 2 matches that just randomly got added like 3 weeks ago in this show, along with Seth Rollins versus Omos. At least this one made a little sense. Like, Lashley and Reed started feuding on Raw. Theory got involved a little bit, and then they made the match pretty quick, but at least made sense. Plus the title's on the line, so even more sense. Regardless of the whole lead up to this matchup, which has obviously been bare minimum, Theory, Lashley, Reed, who's leaving Puerto Rico the United States champion. Pretty simple in my eyes. Austin Theory retaining the United States title. Theory, Lashley, they're both heading to SmackDown. Bronson Reed heading to Monday Night Raw. As I said in a recent video, once Bronson Reed got drafted to Raw, that immediately took him out of this possibility, I should say, to become the United States champion. I didn't really think he was going to win anyway, and even though it is great to see him in this spot. You know, Bronson Reed's awesome, and I want to continue to see him in prominent spots on Monday Night Raw moving forward. But even Bobby Lashley, I just don't see him winning the United States championship. I could very much see Bobby Lashley challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal title, whether it's at Night of Champions or SummerSlam or just somewhere down the line. I think Lashley's definitely going to be an opponent for Roman Reigns, and I just don't see Lashley holding the United States title on SmackDown right now. I think Austin Theory is going to bring that title to Friday nights and work with somebody else new that he hasn't worked with yet. We've been through him versus Lashley plenty of times over the last couple of months, even into the end of last year. After Backlash, it's time to start anew, and we start anew with Austin Theory retaining the United States title. And since the United States Championship belongs to SmackDown, we will move into the title that now also belongs to SmackDown, which is the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Now, overall, I think we're going to get a rename of both championships. I believe Bianca Belair's title will be rechristened, just the WWE Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley's SmackDown Women's title will be rechristened the Women's World title over on Raw. I may be wrong. That's just, remains to be seen. I don't think we're going to get the old swap of the titles like we've gotten in recent years. I think Triple H is smarter than that, and I don't believe that is where we are heading, after Backlash on our next Raw or SmackDown, whenever they might do something of that, occurrence. But regardless, Bianca versus Io Sky, this is going to be a great match, man. Hopefully, I really want this to be a coming out party for Io Sky. She really hasn't gotten that singles opportunity on the main roster to shine, which I understand because she was a part of Damage Control. She was a tag team champion for a while, but this is her first big pay-per-view match versus Bianca Belair. Io's got to come out and do some NXT takeover stuff, man. And not saying she just wasn't doing it willingly on her own these last couple of months, but this is the time to really be like, put it all out there. Her and Bianca, big pay-per-view fight. So I'm really looking forward to the matchup for that instance. But who's going to win? Bianca versus Io Sky. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say Io Sky should leave Puerto Rico, I'm just going to say Raw Women's Champion, but whatever it ends up getting called, whatever. Io Sky to win the Raw Women's Championship, and here's why. Bianca, she has been champion for over a year. She is now on SmackDown. As I talked about in my last video, talking about who won the draft, Bianca has already fought Bayley. She's already fought Asuka. How many more options is there for Bianca on SmackDown that isn't named Charlotte Flair? And if we do get Bianca versus Charlotte, I think that's going to be a matchup for WrestleMania 40, honestly. I don't really see it happening before then. Plus, Charlotte's not even on television right now. They could do it at SummerSlam or something like that, but don't you think they see Bianca versus Charlotte as a WrestleMania matchup? But with that being said, we don't need Bianca holding the championship all year, defending against mostly top opponents that she's already beat. What I would do, have Io Sky win the championship and go on her own, leave Damage Control, do her own thing for a couple of months for the rest of the year on SmackDown. And then at the end of the year, if they really want to do Bianca versus Charlotte for a championship at WrestleMania next year, she can drop it back to one of those. But that's what I would do. This would help establish Io Sky on SmackDown as a new star for the Friday Night SmackDown Women's Division. It's absolutely what I would do. Time to mix it up. Bianca's been on top of Monday Night Raw, like I said, for over the last year. Yes, she's on SmackDown now, but I don't really see too much freshness on SmackDown because of the division they built for Bianca Belair. With that being said, Io Sky, in my opinion, this is the time to pull the trigger. Honestly, I think it would be a big shock to a lot of people, and that's exactly why they should do it. On top of everything that I already mentioned about just changing things up in the SmackDown Women's Division. So, Io Sky is my prediction to leave Puerto Rico, the new Raw Women's Champion. I'm sure to be declared the new WWE Women's Champion. We will jump to the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley defending against LWO's Zelina Vega. I'm really happy they're doing this match. A lot of people were pitching it for this show because of Zelina and Puerto Rico. It just made the most sense. Plus, LWO and Judgment Day have been feuding. It was just a shoo-in, so I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad they're going with the obvious choice for a match here, and I honestly think it'll be good. Zelina really hasn't gotten many opportunities to wrestle at all in the WWE. Not saying she hasn't, I know she has, but this is really like her absolute biggest match of her WWE career, and I think she's probably going to surprise some people. I think this match is going to be better than some might expect. I'm not saying anybody's, out there crapping on this matchup. For what I see, it's mostly a positive outlook for this matchup, but I think it's going to be a really good match. Hopefully, I'm not saying it's going to be Io Sky versus Bianca, what they could do, on that level, but I still think it could be good. Does Zelina have a chance at winning? Not a shot in hell, especially because these two women are now on separate brands. Zelina Vega bringing the championship over to SmackDown just wouldn't make any sense. I think she's going to have a good showing, but I think this is a cakewalk for Rhea Ripley when it comes to the result of the matchup. Rhea retaining the SmackDown Women's Championship, bringing it to Monday Night Raw, and then again probably getting that title rechristened as the Women's World Championship for Monday nights. Rhea just won the title at WrestleMania. She ain't dropping that title anytime soon. There's obviously some really I won't say upstart women, but some women who haven't been in main event spotlights, like a Candice LeRae, a Tegan Knox. My mind's going blank, but there's a lot of women that Rhea can mix it up with on Monday Night Raw that just open up so many more possibilities than her dropping it to Zelina Vega here. And like I said, that wouldn't happen anyway now because they're on separate brands. So Rhea Ripley definitely going to retain her championship here. Should be a great match. I honestly think they're gonna probably pull some inspiration from some old Rey Mysterio matches where he was facing a giant like a Kane or a Big Show or something like that, and trying to play on that. I just thought about that, and I think they might do something like that in that match, so I'm going to be looking out for it, just like a callback. I think that'd be cool. But in the end, the result, Rhea Ripley to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. We got the San Juan, Puerto Rico street fight. Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny. Who's going to win this matchup? Most likely Bad Bunny, probably with some outside interference. It's a street fight, so I'm sure the Judgment Day is going to get involved. I'm sure the LWO is going to get involved. This will probably be the last interaction between these two factions, at least for a while. I do think Rey versus Dominic Part 2 is on the table for WrestleMania next year. However, obviously they got drafted to separate brands, which I really like, just to keep them apart for a while, and the Judgment Day versus LWO feud, because they've been going at it for weeks with really no conclusion. So this Backlash can be the at least semi-conclusion for now until they light things up again with Dominic and Rey down the line. But as for Backlash, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, street fight, it's probably going to be great. Let's be real. It might. And I know this card's got some really matches on it that could easily be match of the night and, really good matches. But Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, I could easily see being the match of the night on Saturday. I mean, Bad Bunny killed it in his, well, not one because he was in the Royal Rumble, was it 2022, which forgettable, but killed it in the WrestleMania match a few years ago. Him and Priest versus Morrison and Miz. It was freaking awesome. They're probably going to go out there and steal the show again. Let's be real. So again, through a bunch of interference, through some chaos, I think Bad Bunny's going to defeat Damian Priest here, and that'll be the end of it. But it'll probably be a fun matchup to watch. Bad Bunny to defeat Damian Priest. And I know some people might not like that, Bad Bunny going over the active talent, but let's be real. Bad Bunny's not coming in to lose. You think he's going to come in to lose to Damian Priest? Get real. Get real. Bad Bunny's walking into Puerto Rico and winning this match. We have Seth Rollins versus Omos, the much anticipated matchup. I made a whole video talking about this matchup, and listen, I ain't hating it as much as some other people. I do think it's funny, unless I missed something. I was half watching Raw, half cleaning up this new room, but unless I missed something, did we even get any final build towards Rollins versus Omos at Backlash on Raw this past week? Rollins, did the opening segment, did the main event. Omos did, I think, a squash match, but did they even really build to this matchup at all? Or are they just acknowledging the fact that, yeah, there's no build, we're just having this match for the hell of it, and there you go. Regardless of the build, regardless of why it's on the show, let's just talk about the result. And honestly, let's talk about the match. It should be fun. Omos has gotten some matches. Let me turn this around. Other people have gotten Other people have gotten good matches out of Omos. That's what I'm trying to say. Bobby Lashley matches weren't bad. The Braun Strowman match was better than people expected, and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania was about what I expected. So honestly, Rollins might give Omos the best match of his career. All remains to be seen. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm intrigued, especially with when it comes to the result. A lot of people think that Omos might win this matchup and go on to challenge Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Do I think that is a possibility? 110%, especially because it's Saudi Arabia, and those shows count like half the time. So now, you know what I mean? They're just like, they'll throw anything on those shows sometimes. So like, could I see that happening? Absolutely. Could I see Seth Rollins taking a loss here, then basically acknowledging that it almost never happened, and then Rollins goes on to just compete in a tournament or whatever the hell for the World Heavyweight Championship? Yes, I could easily see that. Do I want to see it happen? No, I don't think it should. Regardless of if Omos shows up to fight Roman Reigns at Night of Champions, he's not going to win either way. Just because he might defeat Seth Rollins here isn't going to make me think he's any more stronger of an opponent to beat Roman Reigns at Night of Champions. If it happens, like I said, if it happens. So regardless, I think Seth Rollins would just win here, defeat Omos. And again, what might end up being the best match of Omos's career, at least up until this point. We'll see if anybody else can get another great match out of him if this one ends up being great, but Rollins should win, man. Rollins, especially after Monday Night Raw, they're clear-cut telling you that he is the fan favorite, top of the list to win the World Heavyweight Championship, and that is exactly how it should be. Rollins and Drew McIntyre should be the rivalry of the summer on Monday Night Raw for the World Heavyweight title. Who starts first as champion and who wins it down the line from the other, I really don't care. Just make it good. That's all I care about. But Seth Rollins needs to be in that hunt. He's already in that hunt. It starts at Backlash, defeating Omos and starting anew come Monday Night Raw. And hopefully we get a tournament. I don't just want to see them pick the top two names on Raw and throw them in a match at Night of Champions. We got like 3 weeks to build Night of Champions, I believe. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but I think we got like 3 weeks between Backlash and Night of Champions. That's plenty of time for a nice 8-man tournament on Monday Night Raw. Hell, you could probably do a 16-man tournament if you really wanted to, because you got 9 hours of television in those 3 weeks. But regardless, that's what I want to see. Seth Rollins defeating Omos at Backlash. Rollins, Drew McIntyre, one-on-one at Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight title. That's what should happen. That's what I think is a very likely to happen. But again, it all starts this Saturday. Omos, regardless of if he fights Roman Reigns, regardless, does not need to beat Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins to defeat Omos at Backlash. Next up, we got the final conclusion in the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle, the big 6-man tag team matchup. I think I'm in the boat as a lot of people at this point, and that's I'm ready for the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens chapter of the Bloodline story to end. WrestleMania was a perfect ending. However, I gave WWE the benefit of doubt, and I wasn't going to come on here and complain that, oh, they're dragging out the feud, because I think the writing was on the wall that Backlash wasn't going to be a lot of new feuds, or just WWE television, I should say, wasn't going to be a lot of new feuds and fresh starts, because the draft was coming up, and let's be honest, they were just killing time to get through the draft and to get through Backlash. But we're here now. The draft is done. We got Backlash on Saturday, and then we can finally start anew next week on Raw and SmackDown. But as for the 6-man tag, we got Jay, Jimmy, and Solo on one side, Kevin, Sami, and Riddle on the other. Who's taking the win? I'm going with the baby faces. I'm going Riddle, Owens, and Zayn. I think come SmackDown, we'll probably get a segment on Friday night, where Paul Heyman's warning the Usos or something like that, and then they end up losing again. And then where they go from there remains to be seen. I don't have a prediction for the future of the Bloodline and their storylines. But as for Backlash, I think Riddle, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens should win here. And then just to throw a little 2 cents, not necessarily regarding this matchup, but regarding the Tag Team Championship, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw, I do believe they will merge the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships, if you will, award Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn the new World Tag Team title to go along with the World Heavyweight Championship. And then I do believe, whether it's in the lead up to Night of Champions or they, want to spread stuff out, so maybe they wait till after, we will get a new WWE Tag Team Championship on SmackDown that maybe the Usos can fight for. Maybe that'll be, the next part of the Bloodline storyline is, listen, we lost these tag team titles, but now we have a chance to avenge ourselves. So maybe they're going to do a tournament on SmackDown or something to crown new WWE Tag Team Champions. And maybe the Usos make it to the finals, but then they lose. I don't know. That's just where I think the tag team titles are heading. I think everything's getting a split. Not necessarily what I would do. I don't think, even though WWE does have some great teams going for them, they have put some teams together. They're not, the tag team division isn't as bad as a year ago at this time. Triple H has done some work, and I think will continue to do some work. I do think they should just be one set of tag team champions floating between both shows, but that doesn't look like what's going to happen, at least in my eyes. So that's just a little food for thought there. I know it's not necessarily regarding this matchup. Regarding Backlash, though, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle to win, end their storyline with the Bloodline, and then all 6 parties can move on after Backlash. And then we have your main event, or at least what I assume will be your main event, Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. You know, to talk about this build for a second, man, they really didn't give us too much in this build, and nor explanation. Like, they give us a brief explanation, like, oh, we think Brock might be mad that Cody main evented WrestleMania and Brock opened, but then they also made it seem at the same time like that wasn't the only reason. I don't really believe that. There's got to be something else. But then they never elaborated on it, and Brock's just been showing up, and there's been security, and Cody's been trying to fight Brock, and Brock's just laughing in his face, and that's been all the build to try for them trying to resemble, if you will, the John Cena 2012 to 2013 story arc. They're not really doing a good job so far. You go back and watch the build between Brock and John Cena from WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania 28, leading up to Extreme Rules 2012. That was a great build. Night 1 when Brock returned. The next week there was a pull-apart brawl and John Cena was all bloody. It was either the week after that or 2 weeks later. They did a cutting edge, and Edge was just reaming John Cena out and just basically calling him a bitch. It was great. It was a great build leading to that matchup. This has not resembled that at all. This has been very lazy in my opinion. They have not done anything to really get me excited for Cody versus Brock, other than the fact that it's a first time ever match. And hopefully, since Brock's in there with somebody like a Cody Rhodes, it can be a matchup where Brock was in there with an AJ Styles and a Daniel Bryan. And what I mean by that is it's actually a good match, and almost the other wrestler dictates, you know, some of the matchup instead of just a Brock Lesnar heavyweight battle, suplex, and then they go home in 5 minutes. That's all I can hope for, and especially because this match isn't any kind of, you know, no DQ or anything like that. We got the street fight earlier in the night, so I guess that's why they just made this a normal matchup. But wouldn't it have made sense for this to be a no holds barred or something like that? They could always add it, but like night 1 of this feud, Cody got F5'd on the steel steps, got beat up with a steel chair. Like, it's been a violent build, if you will, for what they've done. I feel like it would have made sense to just let the cuffs off, no holds barred, especially with Adam Pearce losing control of both of these guys. Go at it, last man standing wins, or whatever the hell. But regardless, we're gonna get a normal one-on-one match between Brock and Cody, and again, hopefully it's on those levels of a Brock versus AJ or a Brock versus Daniel Bryan. You know, that's all I'm hoping for. As for the result, Cody's got to win this, man. I do not want to see Brock win. You know, I'm so back and forth with how I feel about Cody losing at WrestleMania. Sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I'm like, well, it could be really good. And then other times I'm like, you should have just pulled the trigger. Then I'm like, oh, but they can really, if they do it good, they can really make Cody that much better this time, the next time around. Like, I'm so back and forth with it. At the end of the day, we're here now, though. There's nothing we can do. We can't go back to a month ago and change the result of WrestleMania Sunday. So as for Backlash, Cody's got to win. He's got to defeat Brock Lesnar. Has nothing to do with any adversity in this case. I'm not going to look at Cody Rhodes like, oh, damn, I really feel bad about him if he loses to Brock Lesnar. I'm going to look at Cody Rhodes as he is still a legitimate threat to dethrone Roman Reigns down the line if they want to do so, whether it's at SummerSlam, whether it's at WrestleMania 40, if he defeats Brock Lesnar. If Cody loses to Brock, I think that drops Cody. I think Cody is nowhere near as hot and as important as he was, you know, a month and change ago. And that's just me. I'm not saying they couldn't rebuild him up, you know, and get him back to that spot, but why knock him down so many pegs, especially just for a loss to Brock Lesnar, which a win and loss does nothing for Brock Lesnar. And I don't hate Brock Lesnar as much as a lot of other people do. I actually enjoy seeing Brock on my television. He's a ruthless aggression guy in my eyes, and I love all those RA guys. So I like seeing Brock on my TV, but a win and loss doesn't do nothing for him. So Cody, clear cut, should be walking out of Puerto Rico as the victor in this matchup. And where we go from there remains to be seen. Maybe Cody's going to try to challenge for the world title. Hell, maybe Cody's going to try to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental title. I don't know what they're going to do with Cody Rhodes on Raw. I can say at least I'm intrigued, so I guess that's a positive. As for Backlash, Cody's got to defeat Roman Reigns. Yeah, he should have beat Roman Reigns. Cody's got to defeat Brock Lesnar, and then we'll see where we go come next Monday night. But guys, that will do it for my WWE 2023 Backlash predictions. Overall, the match card looks good, man. I think it's going to be a great show, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens on Saturday night. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down below your predictions for all 7 matches. Where do you guys think these storylines are going to be heading after Backlash into Night of Champions? Let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and and TikTok at Noah Nation Vlogs, and I will be back late Saturday night, early Sunday, whenever the video gets uploaded for my Backlash review. Very much looking forward to hanging out with you guys then. I will see you guys then in the next video. Peace.